Hello and welcome back. But unfortunately, it seems like my face is not shown. But anyway, I'm gonna pretend that I am one for today, guys. So with that being said, it's gonna be Veni, Vidi, Vici versus Timor, Puro right here. The drafting is already set. It seems like we're already about to be on the end of the side of the draft. And once again, guys, we do apologize because there's some technical, issues on the other end side of our streamer. But it's just that some unforeseen circumstances sometimes could it be avoided. So okay, once. But what do we have here in the draft right now? Because I'm seeing a lot of tanky boys.
Ooh, looking at the team, could you tell me which team is which? Because I am totally lost here.
Right, I will say that onto the blue side, it's gonna be Veni, Vidi, Vici, and onto the red side is gonna be Timor, Puro. And these guys, once again, are from Timor-Leste. Are gonna be clashing for who gets the last piece of food on the plate.
You know what? The name is too long. I'm just gonna call them Vici because
yeah, Vici, nice. Yep.
If I try to say the entire name, so I'm just gonna call them Vici for now. It's way easier for me. And looking at the picks from Vici is looking pretty solid. They have taken the Baxia, good utility, the Hayabusa, a really good strong pick, Assassin, Kimi, Moskov, and Hylas. Their draft is looking pretty solid. But then again, even on the opposing team, they have the Matilda, they have the Gatot, they have a Fredrin, as well as a Granger and a Lunox. Oh my god, Volti, I have not seen a Lunox in ages. And boy, this is the perfect pick here because they have picked away the Lunox, which is going to be so good to burst down the Baxia and that Hylos.
Yeah, very true, but there we're gonna be dropping into the land of Dawn. This is a True International Season 2, day number 4 of the Switch brackets of the losing teams. And of course, this session is powered by our one and only Next G. With that being said, it's gonna be blue side as Vici and Timor, Puro on the red side. And once again, I'll say it again, they're gonna be clashing for that sweet, the tastiest bite of the last piece of food that's on the plate. It's the brothers clash. Maybe not. What's gonna be happening here, because we are seeing maybe a possible invade from Timor, Puro.
Oh, Timor Puro are just trying to disturb them a bit, not totally go for the invasion here because it is a Hayabusa. So oh my god, look at the mid there.
Emperor, just enough time for the guiding winds to save the Lunox for now. And as we're talking about the Lunox as well, Lunox has like more of a notable balancing. It's just that the fluidity of the Lunox against the Chaos Order and the Order and Chaos is much more fluid now. So there's a possible thing of using the darkening at the same time, the brilliance at the same time to be more fluid. So I guess it is good, like you said, because on the other side they do have those really tanky ones, namely a Baxia on the EXP and also Hylos on the roam.
Yeah, I mean the fact that they threw the Baxia against the Gatot just makes sense because he has a lot of anti-heal, and that will make his life really hellish because he won't be able to sustain much out of that. And the fact that the Hylos is really good with the glorious path to engage and to slow down the enemies, so that's pretty good as well. But then again, let us not forget the late game potential that Team Timor they possess because they have the Granger, and this guy will be stacking up and will be dealing a lot of damage in the late game. And once the the Lunox has her items as well, she will be dishing out a lot of damage. Once she has she has gotten the Divine Glaive, the Genius Swan, and combined that with the beautiful Wishing Lantern, it is just gonna burst the hell out of these two chunky tanks as well.
Yep, and it seems like there's gonna be a poke into the top side, always the EXP side where Turtle spawns. Much more on the clashing one because it seems like Vici are looking for that tanky sustain onto the mid side of this one. The SOD comes in as well. It's just gonna be Vici here, always onto the spot as we see Hayabusa gonna get that first blood and a double kill. Makes it with the shadow kill, and this could be might as well a triple, but Ringo will be the one to get the kill. But for now, it's gonna be Vici on top of the food chain.
Yeah, Vici are actually dominating this really well. You know, they have the assassin, they have that tanky lineup as well because they have the the Hylas as well as the Baksha, and the Baksha is a big problem. Right off the early game because he already possesses anti-heal, and that is a big threat for our boy Fredrin and Matilda. So that is a huge counter for him as well. And the fact that they have to rely on their mage and marksman to pick out kills is going to be really troublesome for Timor here because they are the only ones that can pick up kills, and the Fredrin will just be the punching sag, for the side of Timor to just be in the front and create space for the Granger and the Lunox.
Yep. You gotta have to create that space. You want to make any advancements, but it seems like there's a Fedrin here trying to get control over this jungle. You don't want those Vici guys to be invading your jungle, slowing down your farm in the process, right? But as of now, bot side, we're seeing at least like 4-to-4 ratio teams going up. That's a Starlium Beam catching to 2 people before now. And it just seems like there could be an invade, or maybe not. They're just gonna, cut each other's off over here.
It seems like our guy Ariel here. I mean, Avriel, yep. This guy is just trying to look for a gank possibly, but he's not getting the right target, so he's just holding on.
Look at that shadow kill coming in once. That's almost enough to turn down Yuzu. Oh, that's a miss SOD. The guy that wins to dash away from the pending dude that comes straight to your face. But that's gonna be nobody. That's to the side of Timor Puro once again. Very good thing, the fact that they shouldn't be feeding for that snowball capability of Vici.
Oh my god, if they had gotten that kill, it would have created more snowball to the side of Vici. But yeah, talking about snowball, here comes up the second turtle of the game, and it seems like Vici are already ready to contest this turtle because they are in position. But then again, on the bot side, there's a gang on the mouse buff as well because the Granger and the Lunox are really overwhelming.
Oh, Fedrin trying to hit that retribution, but still, of course, the Kakashi too fast for your liking here. But it seems like Emperor also going to take down Ringo on the bot side here. And once again, there is going to be a lost retribution to the side of Timor Puro, but they kind of, traded off with a marksman, so it's GG for them.
Oh yeah, but I feel like this time around, the main players would definitely be the Haya and the Kimi as well as the Hylos because the mid lane pressure that they have built right now, it's actually crazy. And the fact that if these 3 are together, they can basically take down anyone because the Hylos, just goes in deep punching bag, the Kimi with oh my god.
Oh, that's a nice 1.5 there once, and yes indeed, killing spree for the Hayabusa follow-up. Just perfect timing of Vici over here. SOD misses once again, but that's alright. You still get the kills, so we will, look off that mistake.
Yeah, I mean, the SOD is like a 50-50, right? Either you or you don't, so it's like that. But then again,
Fraction Pulse connecting to the Fedrin of now. Fedrin dash away with that brave assault. But for now, it's gonna be tier 1. Make to rubble, but there comes a shadow kill from the Hayabusa. Takes out the Matilda for now. And that is 1 kill to the side of Vici once again in terms of leaderboard. 6 minutes already. 5 kills to the side of Vici. And a 1 for Timor.
Oh my god, Timor are, they have to, basically wait up, just farm safely and, wait for the marksman and their mage to come online because this time around, the Hayabusa is totally on a on a snowball. He has like about 4 kills. So that's, that's really good for Vici, but on the other side, it's really bad for Timor. So, they have to wait for the mage and the MM to come online, and that is where they can commit with these tanks that they have on their side with the support and just create space for them to just deal damage there. But oh my god,
Hayabusa finally using that shadow kill once again. SOD finally missed this time, but it seems like Ringo will be the one to come in to spare somebody down, but also the brilliant play just to shut down that Ringo for now. Uses the Bissell Arrow to kind of like but he's gonna pivot. It's just gonna kill that Lunox in the process there, and that is gonna be a 1-to-1 trade on both sides, and that is once again going to be a free turtle soup to the side of Veni, Vidi, Vici, or is it going to be Puro this time? But oh no! Ringo bites the dust. It will be a Death Sonata to the face, to the side of Vici for now. And with that being said, still the turtle dance continues, but it seems like that's going to be enough action for this time around.
Yeah, that was totally one pack of action-filled gang on the turtle there. So much going on. And you know, the fact that they got to take down Avriel is actually really good because now they got the bounty officer's head. And you know, they got the shutdown, but then again the chaos from the Lunox. Oh my god.
That's an AOG towards 2 members. And that is almost a fail as well. There's gonna be a snipe coming in from the Ranger K. Who would want to grab it all for Vera at the same time? Ringo also buys the dust right there. 2 deaths to the side of Vici, and Timor Puro capitalizing a lot, coming back with their momentum.
This is what I was talking about. You know, just wait for the MM mage to come online. That is when your front line and your support can create space for you to dish out damage. And man, that is, you know, exactly what they're doing. And you know, the fact that now even Timor, they're you know, on par with Vici is actually really good because they are taking down a lot of objectives. They're coming online. They have you know, evenly push out the turrets as well. So they are definitely on equal par here with Vici.
Yep. Very equal in terms of this. Even the gold lead isn't much difference from both of the teams. And we're about to enter the 10-minute phase of the game. Damage taken ranking. It's gonna be towards number 1 as the Gatot catch, of course. But here comes more shadows come in, falling down to the side of Timor Puro. But that's gonna be an Empro taking down the mid laner. The Kimi pivot QT buys the death for the Kimi with that brilliance of a gameplay. Empro need to chill.
Oh my gosh, man. Oh my god, he really needs to chill, yeah. And you know, the fact that the Lunox is a quite hard to kill because she has definitely 2 ultimates, which is the defensive one, Brilliance, and she can use that anytime, you know, to get the immunity and then pop up the flicker and get into safety. So they have to watch out for that as well. But then again, just look at Timor. They're capitalizing all the turrets. They have taken down 2 turrets from the top, but then again, look at
Here comes initiation. Ringo takes out Matilda this time around. So this is a get-go for Veni Vidi Vici to take this initiation to push as much as possible. And also maybe this time it'll be the green goal for the Lord to take on their hands. But for now it seems like the Federation is also in phase to kind of steal up the retribution. Here comes some, you know, shots coming in from K in the back line, try to give a lot of damage. The SOD hits towards K as well. We're not seeing a Ringo coming in the back line, but that's gonna be a pure AOG dropping. But then again, that Say Retail bites the dust. And also, this could be an Uno reverse for Timor Puro to get the Lord instead.
Wow. You know, the fact that they, you know, Timor Puro, they were just stalling the enemies and Madara there, you know, just casually getting the Lord despite being the tank. He was there all alone, you know, just attacking the Lord, and you know, his HP was getting chunked down bits by bits, and you know, he just uses the bonk as well to secure the Lord and get some HP back. And yeah, these are, you know, these small micro plays that really matters in the game because you never know what decision might lead to your victory. But then again, yeah, Madara already positioning himself onto the top lane where the Lord is marching down, and it seems like even Vici here, they're, you know, ready to take down the Lord. But then again, look at the positioning of Timor as well. They are so ready, you know, to look for a fight, and they are being quite aggressive there.
Aggressive might be the key to get this inhibitor shell cracked open. Shadow kill being used once again by the Hayabusa right here. That's gonna be a check down Lord on the top side as well. Ringo is in position of the lanes to make sure nothing stays alive to pose threat to the fortress of Vici right here. Bot side though, we'll be seeing that tier 2 drop, and finally K having a lot of stacks now, I believe, just, you know, chunking down those things. He gets caught in the traction pulse, but not gonna be enough. As look at this Empro, Lunox on the other end getting caught in the midst, and yes, Ringo gets the shutdown No more Lunox this time, so they have to back it out. Or maybe not, they still want to fight. But this could be a get-go for Vici to take those initiative once again. If you don't want to lose your red buff, this could be the time. But there's no Fredrin whatsoever. But Fredrin finally dies over here. Ringo trying to use so much to kind of escape the wrath of Timor Puro. But look at K here, gonna be grabbing that double. We're gonna try to make it a triple right here because the taunt coming in, and that's a triple for Timor Puro. And yes, they will be cracking the bot side inhibitor shell for now, but only Kakashi remains. Can he carry the 7 squad of the, I feel like the Naruto's, but here comes another one to get taunt, but K will be the one to get that monster kill, and that is a wipeout and also a game end in favor to the side of Timor Puro.
Wow, Timor Puro, man, they totally, turned the table. It was definitely an Uno because, yeah, we saw that Vici in the early phases of the game coming up with 3 kills onto the 2 kills on the Hayabusa and 1 kill on someone else. And yeah, they did get the early snowball. They got the turtles, they got the objectives, they got the turrets. Then again, when the Granger and the Lunox, they started coming online, that is where the tide of the game totally shifted towards the side of Timor Puro. And man, just look at K on that Granger, a beautiful 604 KDA with about 83% teamfight participation. Man, this guy has 83 teamfight participation. Is he a roamer or something? Because man, this is the the participation that we mostly see on a roamer. But yeah, the fact that they managed to hold their ground in the early and mid phases of the game, despite the early snowball that Vici they had, and the fact that even their team, they understood the assignment because they knew that, yeah, we have a guy, we have a Matilda, we have a Gatot, we have a Fred. We can't really do much. All we can do is provide space for our guy K and the Lunox, to just dish out damage from the back and, carry them all the way through the game. And that's what they exactly realized in the early phases, in the mid phase of the game. Because in the early phase, they were just, going in for the fights, but not really getting any kills because there's just no amount of burst that they had to take any kills. But yeah, look at the stats being shown there, Balti. What do you think?
The stats is just overkill for Timor Puro's K, because he's just sitting there with a 604. Untouchable this guy is. There's just claims to show that Timor Puro, Maidera at the same time, Matilda and a Gatot, it's just enough front line to be just tanking out the damage. And of course the rich guy is gonna fall to K, and also he's the carry, of course, because that last crack of those fountain, it's just K just carrying everything, right? Gonna dish out those damage, even got a triple there. But as for the sandbag though, it's gonna be Sari Tail here. He actually tank a lot of damage actually. I thought the Fedrin will be the one to tank a lot more, but it seems like Timor Puro are just showing their pure dominance. The fact that every single one of their players are on the display and not to the side of Vici.
Yeah, and the fact that K, man, he just held his ground on his own, especially in the early phase of the game, because he was getting ganked a lot, and Avriel, he was looking for him. But yeah, K on the other hand, he was totally aware that he could be ganked at any point in the game, and he just kept playing safe and just stack up that Capriccio. And that Capriccio, man, I really wanted to see the stacks, but yeah, the game just ended and we couldn't check that out. But yeah, the fact that he was just free farming all the way through the game safely without being too much of a center of attention. And when he came online, oh boy, he was unstoppable, because the Sky Piercer stack that the guy had, I feel like he definitely had about 60 stacks, because that's like 6 kills, so 60 stacks. So yeah.
Alright, it seems like that's gonna be the verdict of ones there, but don't forget, because there's still gonna be an interview session. It seems like the winners, Timor Puro, are gonna get interviewed right now in the session. We're gonna be asking about how they feel and how they managed to pull that off. And then yeah, other than that, as for next match, though, it's gonna be IC Paradise versus Vortex Rain, Bhutan versus Indonesia. But before that, if we can get the players here, that would be nice because I actually want to see K here, dropping in his verdict on how he did to get, play such a perfect positioning with the gold lane.
Yeah. And the fact that in the interview, we even get to sometimes interview with the coaches, which is something really good because yesterday me and Ray both we actually got to talk to the coach himself, so that was a big honor for us as well. And it's just not the player, even the coaches are being recognized here. So a big kudos to True International for providing exposure for the coaches as well, because they all deserve it, because they are the ones with all the research, with all the data that they provide their teams to come up with unique strategies and drafts and picks as well. So big kudos to all the coaches of all the teams out there, and we're hoping to see a lot of you guys there as well. And I really want to interview Kai, because man, the way he was playing, and the way he was maintaining his momentum despite his team losing all the objectives in the early phases of the game, that can create a lot of pressure for the marksman, because if your team is behind, you will be behind. And as a marksman, you really need those items, right, to come online and start dishing out the damage for your team. And yeah, that's it for, that's what I want to ask him. But then again, even even their jungler and the Fredrin pick, because Fredrin is still a utility pick, which kind of work against the Hayabusa. Mostly it is the Hayabusa, that actually dominates against utility picks, because utilities can't really take it, and that's where Hayabusa snowballs the game. But yeah, this time around it seems like the utility was much better, because he could be the punchback for his team and just be there in the front line, being a hindrance and not allowing even the quad shadow to pass through him to his teammates in the backline.
Yeah, it really shows that Timor Puro crumbled that early game snowball for Vici, because they got the turtles most of the time. It's always the Kakashi just hitting those retribution. Even if Timor Puro kind of contests, it's always a retreat gap. But it just claims to show that turtles are not the most important thing in the game. It's more of how you can come back, utilize those situations where you can, provide you that winning condition, and also just overall macroing it out. Micro is also important, but in terms of turning the tides, it's usually macro that comes into play. If a team plays well with coordination, and they can take out most of the time if you can synergize your crowd controls. And that is exactly what happened. You were seeing a lot of AOG coming in from Sadie Tails as well. Matilda was always there to save people. And other than that, the Fedrin also uses this taunt to kind of pull back most of the time. And as you know, Sadie Tail in the last bit, like one set, the Unbreakable hits towards that Hayabusa. And that Hayabusa couldn't do anything, just gets taunted and get bursted down by K. And that all the teams are playing very good. And don't forget, the early carry, I should say, was M Pro on that Lunox, and was playing that Lunox very immaculately. The fact that he can get that solo kill towards the mid laner, that's Pivot QT for Vici, getting solo kill inside the turret when everybody was fighting, that is something else.
Oh yeah, definitely, because I do agree with the Lunox, right? With the brilliance and chaos was such a carry as well, because not just K, who's the one dishing out the damage and carrying the team. It was even a part of the Lunox, because the guy, the way he played her was quite immaculate, as you said, and the brilliance was brilliant and the chaos was chaotic. When he triggered the chaos, it was chaos, because all the members from the side of Venice, they were just running away, and they were just taking too much damage from that chaos. But yeah, even when the Hayabusa came in with the quad shadow, it was just the brilliance with a brilliant timing being triggered and just save her from being killed by that shadow as well. So the timings, the reflect on that guy was on point as well.
Oh, very much true. But seems like our players here not really joined the interview phase yet. Don't know if we're gonna be having the interview session because maybe Timor Puro also have time. But it seems like we might be having one, so let's keep yapping away once. Because what about this next team? Icy Paradise and Temporal. Yeah, Vortex Rain. Don't know why I said that Temporal Rain because I thought it's the emblem thing, right? The emblem skill that reduces the first and the second skill. But for now, Icy Paradise though, they're I should say they're not. I feel like they're underperforming the fact that they lost that first one as well. Vortex Rain are looking pretty solid as for Icy Paradise. Bhutan needs to come up with something. I mean, like they still have to improve the drafting. I'm not here to kind of criticize them, but it's something that needs to be pointed out because most of the time they lost in the draft. That's why they get absolutely, obliterated by the other teams that know how to draft. So in terms of that, do you think Icy Paradise can have a chance against Temporal Rain? I said it again, Vortex Rain. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, talking about Icy against Vortex, I feel like, anything can happen because, sometimes you're having a bad day and sometimes you're not. So it depends also, like how ready you are to play the game. And as for Icy, I have hopes for them because, they have made it through the qualifiers. So they must be a good team to, come up till here. And the fact that from all those teams that we've been competing against during the qualifier, they are the ones that made their debut here. It just speaks volumes, that they do have skills as well. So I'm not gonna say that they are a weak team. I feel like they are yet to show their potential. And this time around, they are against a tough opponent as well, which is Vortex. So they can redeem themselves and put themselves onto their redemption arc and show us what they got as well, because this time around they've already lost a few a first game, right, like one game. So they still have around 2 chances to prove themselves. So maybe they can win the next 2 or 3 matches and proceed into the further stage after the Swiss stage. So yeah, I'm rooting for them.
Yep, we are all rooting for our teams here, but only I feel like only a few teams will proceed, especially to the lower brackets, because there's really gonna be more space for those lower side. But right now, speaking of yesterday matches though, I wasn't there. Ray was there to kind of replace me. What happened to the teams there, Wanz? Do you have a great time with Ray?
Oh yeah, we had an absolute blast. Like I got a cast with him. We did the first and the second game, which was an absolute blast. And we had an absolute blast with the coaches as well. And yeah, and we did quite witness a spectacular match as well. So yeah, we did have a great time. And talking about yesterday's game, I felt really bad for me, because even while casting, right, I had a lot of issues with my Wi-Fi. Ray was also having a lot of trouble from his end because his Wi-Fi was like not working. It was lagging a bit. His voice was robotic, and then that happened to him. And then my Wi-Fi totally gave up on me. It was not working as well, and I had to use my internet. And then yeah, my internet died as well. So because of that, I couldn't join Debbie in the last game. But yeah, it seemed like she didn't even need me because man, that girl, she was on fire. She just did the entire thing herself. And a big kudos to Debbie, a big W from Wanz, to Debbie for doing that alone. And I do apologize for not being there yesterday with Debbie as well. So yeah.
Solo Debbie, right? The rising star, the rising caster, soloing out the fire. Those days, these are when I would say casters are MVP. Is when the other co-caster isn't available. They have to take the casting, in the solo. That's where they just carry the whole entire thing, because a tournament matches without casting is kind of boring, I should say, even if it's against really good teams. But you really need the hype energy, at least for a caster. Even if they only do analysis, they talking is just, it just suits the minds of people that you're not alone. Like you're actually listening to something, even if they're not really to your liking or something, but at least there is something to kind of entertain the game. That is why caster's role is also very important, as you say. But for now, I thought we saw a glimpse of Yuhu there joining the interview section, but it seems like he just left there instantly. And Yuhu as the roamer, that Matilda, okay, the Matilda of Timor Puro. So I thought he was gonna take the interview, but it seems like it's gonna take a little bit more, guys, a little bit more. But as of now, actually kind of excited to be moving to the playoffs soon, because once the playoffs start, that is where a lot of crazy matches are going to be, and most of the time it's not going to be like a very one-sided match. Hopefully it's basically going to be more of the good teams that are left to the clash, and when both teams are very evenly matched, the match gets really intensive as well. It kind of hypes up the casters instead of even cast better instead of like a very one-sided match. But other than that, I hope we do get to see that before the playoff stage as well, because the day before yesterday, we got to see a really good matches between some nations. So in continuation, I see Paradise and Vortex reigned. The expectation of them is really high.
Yeah. And yeah, talking about the interview, man, I'm just eagerly waiting, for them to just show up and, get a chance to talk to them. But yeah, it seems like they're still trying to prepare themselves for the interview, because yeah, this is not something which is very common. It kind of make you a little nervous as well, because I do remember my days, when I had to like talk in front of a crowd, or stand up in a classroom and just do a presentation. Man, those days, when you initially start these things and you're not really used to it, you get really nervous, shaking, and then you stutter. So that things happen. But yeah, the fact that these players, yeah, they're, despite all that, they're still young, and despite all that, they are still willing to volunteer to come to the interview and talk with us. It's really great, and it's it's a really wholesome thing as well.
Yeah, very true. But I should say there's also an improvement into the the pro scene of MLB, because most of the people that are interviewed actually have something to say this time, instead of being very nervous and not being able to say something. We've seen that King Kong actually did a very good interview, especially King Kong and Fabian. If you see in the pro stage, they were kind of like brain rot mewing and doing this Sigma pose, like what you did in the poster there, right? Yeah, they're so there must be there must be like an academy to kind of finally get players to be more confident of themselves, and when players are the most confident, it's so nice to see them as well. But it seems like we got somebody joining the interview. It's gonna be, I'm pretty sure, Madeira here, the jungler of Timor Puro, with the veteran there, hands on his pocket. He likes to drop the Praisers Wrath and win it all for the brothers.
And yeah, Madeira from the side of wait, what was it again, both? I'm lost here. I'm lost on track because my brain is not braining today.
Hey yo. Yeah. Guys, please excuse once, because he's, like you said, he's having a really scorching moment in his room right now, because temperature's rising, global warming is getting worse here every time of the day. Guys, stay hydrated there. You don't want to pass out. You don't want to be dehydrated, and also plant more trees, basically.
It's like Madeira is still preparing, to come up with his
teman saya yang mau masuk.
We're hearing glimpses of Madeira here. I don't know how for long until the cam is going to be provided, but hopefully it is, because we do have some questions from Madeira, right? Especially from Team Puro. And yeah, Madeira, if you thought about it, has those plays. They didn't quite win those retribution battles, but he was there to provide enough, aura presence to the side of Vici, to the fact that they were able to finally throw their matches and just grab that sweet victory for themselves. Don't you think, once?
Definitely. I mean, Madeira on the battlefield, despite having some trouble in the early phases of the game, he did a lot of aura farm with his Fredrin because man,
Yep.
this guy, Fredrin is such a cool hero with one hand in the pocket, one hand with his big sword, and he's just gonna be appraising anyone who comes his way, and that is what Madeira exactly did with his Fredrin. He was a big guy, always in the front to provide space for his team to just basically do the stuff that they needed to do, and the ultimate. And it seems like there's someone else as well who has joined us here.
Right. Seems like we even got a translator in the VC session here because, of course, most of teams as well, not everybody can speak the international language. So we're in true internationals, guys. Okay, we're true international. Because this is much expected because there's going to be lots of teams coming in. Even the professional stage itself, most of the pro players are not that well, speaking English just yet. But like I said, it's something to work still, right, into the pro stage as well. So let's not expect everything to be perfect here because we're also growing, and with time, only time can tell.
And the fact that you're translating this, that's going to be really great for us casters as well because yesterday when me and Ray we were interviewing, they were speaking their own language, so we couldn't understand much.
No.
But from the fact that the way he was expressing, we could tell that he was really happy to win the game, and he was like a humble guy. So yeah, even the body language is enough to tell us how you're feeling.
Yep, very much. Body language, facial expression, emotion, and those are the things that most likely even detectives use to get some evidence or any kind of some leads to kind of, I guess, like give a verdict of who is guilty or not. But as of now, though, still waiting for our boys here. So until then, I feel like we're gonna have a good time. Juan's also looking a bit impatient at this time. But anyways, Juan's a nice green fur coat right there. Oh, wait. We're seeing some. Ooh, let's go. We got FD here from Timor Leste here.
Hello.
Hello. How's it going? So you guys finally got that win. We see that you guys didn't actually get the turtles on like the earlier phases, but as the time it grows, you finally get to climb back on the momentum and finally get the win for yourself. So what did you guys actually do to make that happen?
So I think they are these two team is from Timor Leste, so they're actually good in Timor Leste. Is the Timor Puro is number. They are always facing in the final match, so they know each other. And for the preparation, I think both of team is make a better preparation, but maybe Timor Puro get luck today to win this match.
Ooh. Yeah, lag is the saving sector. Actually, quite a humble answer, that one. But I feel like I'm gonna give it a thumbs up to K and also M-Pro because M-Pro was like carrying the early games with the Lunox play, right?
Yeah.
So, what happened to M-Pro? Like, is he like very comfortable with the hero Lunox?
Yeah, his favorite hero, so he playing Lunox all the time.
Wow, that's actually great. Because, I rarely see any Lunox players in India these days, and I'm a big fan of Lunox myself. So it was, a really good time for me as well to just see the Lunox in the scene, and I was actually, the one rooting for the Lunox right off the bat because when I saw her, I got really excited, and I knew that the Lunox would really work against a tanky lineup, such as against the Backchair and that Hylos, and you guys made use of that Lunox and Granger really well.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
I think this is my friend Chire, the explainer. Maybe he wanna talk something, so maybe I can give to him.
Okay.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, Renchi. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling so very good, so very happy because Veni, Vidi, Vici was a rival in our country.
Ooh.
Yeah. They we compare the game that we we have been waiting for so long.
Yeah.
That I just want to say to V,
It
I
seems
just want
like
to
you
say
got
to the XP from 3V, do more best, bro.
Oh, wow.
We're getting beef from both brothers. Same nation.
Because Chiron's still on top.
Oh.
I like the confidence. I actually love the
Finally getting
confidence.
competition now, right?
There's got to be a lot of competition.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for your time as well. Thank you, FD. Thank you,
Thank you,
Richie,
thank
as well.
you.
And then hopefully we are gonna see you in the next match against, of course, another nation. But as of now, that interview session is gonna be
Okay.
out.
Thank you.
All right. Right, boys and girls. We're finally ending that match number 1 for now. It seems like we're gonna be having quite recess session because there's also some time needed for casters, at the same time the management to kind of readjust things. So with having said, it's gonna be Volti and Wands on the desk. We'll see you in the second match against Icy Paradise versus Vortex Rain Bhutan. curtains unveiled once again to the True International stage, and we are here, Season 2, Swiss stage of day number 4. And this is where Bhutan meets Indonesia once more for clashing, for getting extra chances to the Swiss stage. Can they make it? Can they not? It all depends on the session. I see Paradise to the blue, and the red side, it's gonna be Vortex Rain, the Indonesian pride over here in the True Internationals. And yes, we're joined by our one and only Bladed Armor once again.
Balti, you gotta stop with the blade armor because that is ridiculous. Should have never said that. But yeah, jokes aside, yeah, it's gonna be our boys, IC, and it is gonna be Vortex. So yeah, I'm actually really rooting for IC and Vortex, but I'm gonna be a little bit biased. I'm gonna go for Vortex. For IC here because I feel like they are yet to show their potential, and they still have a lot up their sleeves. So I feel like there are some audience that are underestimating them. So I feel like they might need a little support from the audience. But what could be the best support, right? If a caster is rooting for you, so I feel like it'll get them a little bit hyped up, and they can go up there and show what they've got. And yeah, I'm rooting for them as well as for Vortex. No, not much of a biasness here. So yeah, I feel like since I'm rooting for IC, you have to go for Vortex.
Sure. I'm gonna get the Indonesian flag and the pride over your side. And yes, since I'm on the right side and you're on the left side, yeah, makes sense, right? Makes sense. So yeah, my boys is gonna be Vortex Rain. Yours is gonna be IC Paradise. But as of now, I feel like the ping test has begun once again because we won fairness, everything to be undercover. We don't want those excuses of ping issues. If the team can say yes, we are good with the ping, they can play. But one thing that really always bugs me about international stages, if it's not a LAN event, is the fact that both the teams are always nerfed. They're not going to be playing on their full potential. I mean, they are in the comforts of their home, but in terms of reaction, latency, there's going to be delay. So a chance of pulling out a very, very good outplay when it comes to ping, it just shortens. And don't forget, we do see some really good plays from Keyboy from on the ID, because that guy, okay, just when the Kalia drops in with the title strike, just when he's about to hit Tigreal, Keyboy's on Tigreal, he just pressed that what is that called, implosion, and just cancel the title strike. Ended up letting them throw the other side of the opponent. So those really small factors, okay? Refresh rate, latency difference, that is where you bridge the gap to make those insane outplays. So as for now, we won't be having this time around, but hopefully in the future, when we finally get that SEA stage of LAN tournaments, then maybe that's where the real players would shine. But that's gonna take a lot of effort. So we guys want your support from the audience as well to make that a dream, even though there's no donation in money whatsoever. But just the fact that the audience can come here and watch and make the viewers grow, that is enough to kind of convince most of sponsors. So for now, of course, we have to say thank you to NextG as our sponsor. The fact that this prize pool entirely of the True International in Season 1, there wasn't any prize pool. It's just a sponsorship from different nations. But this time we have a prize pool for the players to be, spending their cash, and also for upgrades to make them a better player. So with that being said, once here, I feel like he had enough of my yapping. So what about you, man?
I mean, that was one big of a yapology from Balti. I feel like he has a degree in yapology there. I mean, that was without stopping, man. That is the true skill of a caster. Just talk and talk without any pause, and that is what we need. When it comes to the MLBB scene as well, we need a person like Balti who can just entertain us, keep talking and hype up the game for us without any pause. And in teamfight we really get to see his skills. So yeah, a big W for Balti also, because he is a really good hype caster. And me as an analyst, I kind of feel inferior when Balti is like yapping really well, because me, when I yap for way too long, I tend to stutter, and the whole sentence it's just totally butchered. So yeah.
No man, no man. You're just glazing way too hard, man. That shouldn't be even legal at that point once. But we'll say both we do maybe a good job at our works here, and we're just gonna leave it at that. No need to glaze you, me, you. No, just make it in the equal terms because the pay is same anyways, but there's no pay. Just kidding. Just anyways, guys, it's gonna be Icy Paradise, Vortex Rain, Indonesia versus Bhutan once again. Until then, the drafting will start, and we'll finally see a glimpse of our players drafting. Will Icy Paradise finally? ICS. I'm gonna call it Icy Once or Once Paradise here, or Bolty Rain or Vortex Bolty. That makes no sense. I will see if they can come up with a good drafting this night.
I feel like a Once Paradise actually sounds really good because me myself.
Yeah.
Some paradise, so
Yeah,
it makes sense. It makes sense, to have an Icy Paradise and Once on the same side, and combine it and make it one paradise. So yeah, I'm actually gonna go with that, and throughout the entirety of the game, I'm gonna call them Once Paradise.
Okay. Quite a dedication from Once here, ladies and gentlemen. But as of me, I don't like glazing myself. Just gonna call them by their already agreed name from all the team. That's gonna be Vortex Rain, and of course they're gonna be reigning over Onesie Paradise. I'm pretty sure because we're standing Indo, Tolan Pride.
And yeah, talking about these teams, Balti, as we've talked about the scene, where the Tigreal with the implosion right on time against the tsunami slam. Yeah, that was a crazy play as well because the precision and the timing of that Tigreal was on point, and the micro that he played there was really good, and I'm still in awe actually because of that, because that one small move totally gave them the entirety of the game, and they won that. So yeah, they have to focus on their micro and macro a lot.
And don't forget, Keyboys show a lot when it comes to even suppression can be cancelled, even though by heroes that don't really have cancel skill. Instead, it's a Matilda and a Kufra there. Matilda got whipped by Kaja's Divine Judgment just in time. Keyboy pressed the Guiding Winds, and the whip broke. I don't know how is that possible. Even the casters themselves were quite awed by the fact that the whip broke there. I don't think even Moonton kind of anticipated for that to happen. But anyway, on the side though, the Kufra, when he gets hooked for some reason, Keyboy casts the Tyrant's Revenge and hopefully just breaking the chain of the hook as well. So I don't know how these players do that. It's supposed to be breaking the laws of MLBB physics. Just if a player can do that, he's a really good one.
I mean, he has definitely cracked all the code, because this guy, he knows what to do with what hero. And yeah, the fact that the Tyrant's Rage, it basically allows you to dash right with the Kufra.
Yeah.
And you use that, and then you're getting hooked. When the hook comes at you, and then he's pulling you, even the Tyrant's Rage at the same time is going. So when you land on the Franco, it actually puts a knockup. So that's actually really smart of him.
Very, very crazy in it once. But it does not make sense about the suppression, because suppression is supposed to be the most superior crowd control, right? Like nothing can stop a suppression if it latches onto you. Maybe your teammates can save you with the suppression, but as for that, our Guiding Wind, a mere second skill, just breaking the suppression of a very long cooldown ultimate. That is a Divine Judgment. It's Moonton. Come on, what is wrong?
There's one thing about Kufra, right?
What is that?
Kufra, he take out his whip when he's using Divine Judgment, and he suppresses a target. But if the target, it gets way too far from the whip, it actually breaks, and that's what exactly happened. Guiding Wind, it dashes So the moment the guiding wind was dashing, he hit the suppress, and that the dash completed. So that is where the point, where the suppression broke, because Kufra, he has suppression, but if the target is way too far from his whip, it actually cancels it out. And that is the thing with Franco as well. He is fixated on one place, and he uses suppression. So if someone stuns him, basically the suppression also stops. So that's the thing with Kaja as well. He suppress you, but if you're way too far, the suppression actually breaks.
Very, very crazy there. Very good analysis from our goated analyzer here. W blade armor indeed, right, ladies and gentlemen? That's how you do stuff. That's how you do stuff. The more we learn every day, the new things we learn every day, the more we learn. All right, guys, though, drafting is still haven't started. It seems like there is some sort of the ping test where the players fail to kind of surrender, maybe. But we're talking about Vortex Rain and Icy Paradise once again. Icy Paradise, they really they stick to the meta, but sometimes they tend to kind of stay out of the meta. Like they used to bring out this old meta heroes, right? Yeah. So like even that last time when I was casting in their Bhutan qualifiers, Icy Paradise against Onyx Paradox at the last minute of the game where they're about to get, was it a 3-0? I'm pretty sure. They pulled out a Ruby Gold lane with a Florin on the roam, which doesn't really complement each other, honestly. So in terms of that, not much to say, no comments, but maybe Vortex Rain also. If I'm not mistaken, I feel like Vortex Rain also, was that them that pull out the Kimi with the Hasklos when I was casting with the Sarash? Not quite sure, it could be them though. But if both of these guys are actually going against each other with new experimental builds, it'll be one hell of a candy for the eye, especially for an analyzer like Wands there.
Yeah, I mean, I am a fan of a Haskell on a Kimi. And that might actually sound crazy, but hear me out. First of all, the Haskell has attack speed, which can actually increase the magic power of the Kimi. And it also has crit effect, and Kimi is a hero that does really good with the crit. And the lifesteal, though, I'm not really sure about it, because on Kimi the lifesteal effect is cut down by half. But then again, these three combined together on Kimi actually work, guys. So you might as well try it out.
Okay, Hasklaw's the unique pass is Frenzy, right? If you crit, the more attack speed you get, I'm pretty sure, right? So if he keeps critting, the more attack speed he gains. The more attack speed means the more magic damage, I think. So yeah, it kind of works once. Oh, finally, we're in the drafting phase. And look at that, already. Vortex Rain and Icy Paradise already having that first ban on both sides. Matilda on the side of Icy Paradise and Abaxia. Seems like Vortex Rain have been studying the draft of Icy here.
Yeah, definitely, because Vortex have actually taken out the Baxia itself. And on the other hand, though, Icy ones here, they've taken out the Matilda, which is pretty good, because Matilda, despite the shield nerf, she's still pretty good, because she's not only support that provides shield. That's not her biggest skill. The biggest part of a Matilda is the ability to go in and out safely in a team fight, and the fact that she can provide a safety skill for your teammates, which is the guiding wind, is actually crazy. I feel like if they want to balance out Matilda, they have to nerf the guiding wind, because the guiding wind can take you for a very long path. So let's maybe cut down the distance by a bit, and that can tone down her in the current meta.
Ooh, maybe we was right about that. Yeah, I think it's the team, because Coach Hafiz is actually there. Shout out to host Coach Hafiz, by the way. Pretty good coach, pretty good man. But what I would say I like about Coach Hafiz is the fact that he likes to experiment, right? Yeah. He likes to come up with the builds as well, to kind of like trying to shut down the meta. He try to build own meta of himself, which one day it'll work, okay? Because the main meta, if there's a counter for the main meta, it's always another something that kind of counters. If you don't experiment when it comes to that, there's no way you can shut down the current meta. not only the patch notes, okay, but we're talking outside of the patch notes. So Icy Paradise in your hand. We finally finished with the first phase of their banning. They're taking out those menaces like the Badang, the Kalia. You don't want the support from the Matilda as well. And on the side of Vortex Rain, we have the Hayabusa ban. Maybe they're looking for something, maybe another assassin ban. Fanny's kind of nerfed, but I don't think Vortex Rains are gonna get occupied in a Fanny because Icy Paradise, or maybe not. Oh, they're just going for the Moskov instead, just shutting down. Maybe they have some kind of a strategy where Moskov is going to ruin their strategy.
I feel like the bans coming up on the side of Vortex Ring. It's a pretty pretty reasonable and pretty standard because yes, the Hayabusa, the assassin, yeah, he can kill and get out very easily. As for the Backshot, pretty much makes sense why to take him out. He is in the meta and he is dominating. And as for the Moskov, I feel like even the Moskov, in late game, it is a big pain, to deal with the Moskov with his spears just piercing through you to your teammates with his abyssal step. The Spear of Misery, which can pretty much counter any close range hero that's trying to get, close to you. And the fact that the Spear of Misery can be really troublesome in team fights, where the Moskov can actually hit many targets because in team fight all of you are together. So if you clump down together, there's a high chance that SOD will hit, and that is where the support from the Moskov can come. But yeah, just look at the pick coming up from the side of Icy here, man. I did not see. Despite the nerf on the chip, where his ultimate, the portal, the location is revealed, they are still taking that chance, and they're just going up for it.
Yeah, they're really looking for that snowball chance because they're picking. Look at this following picks that's coming up from Icy. It's a Roger and a Farsa. So in terms of early game, they have that early game damage to kind of switch through those jungles because Roger, for some reason, the Lycans pounds damage even in the early. It hurts like hell. But the side of Vortex Rain, on the other hand, I don't know why they ban a Moskov because maybe in terms of laning phase, sometimes there is a chance where the player is better than the other one, so Moskov kind of wins. But most of the time, I feel like it's the Granger that kind of wins out on the early trades. So I don't know why they banned out their Moskov if they're going to be picking the Granger. Maybe they're trying to do like a mental issue brain to the side of Icy Paradise. But this second pick is actually a very good one. It's gonna be a Lapu there, and oh my goodness, just going straight for the jungle pick is gonna be the Yi Shin against a Roger.
Wow, man, this is crazy because it is a semi-marksman and a semi-assassin marksman there. So this is pretty interesting to watch. And the Yi Shin, he's actually really good because man, even yesterday we did see the Yi Shin being banned out as well. So they actually pay respect to the new Yi Shin, and he's actually not bad. He's actually really good because he is one of the top junglers right now. The Yi Shin, guys, he is rising into the meta. You have to look out for the guy because with his new ultimate, despite him being an assassin, he can put an AoE CC. So that is one heck of a kit, to give to a marksman / assassin. So that is pretty dangerous. And yeah, Vortex though, they even secured the Lapu, which is really good because man, this guy, he can be such a problem with the shield from his passive. Can take down, can actually absorb a lot of damage, and the fact that he's being buffed, he's really strong. And yeah, his his combos as well can be really unpredictable. You never know where he might come in with the flicker combo because his ultimate, it has a huge range. And yeah, combine that with the flicker, you're just gonna be going straight into the backline. So securing a Lapu is really good. But then again, the Arlot is still open, and my Arlot might be picked here to counter out the Lapu.
Yep, that's also very much possible because Arlot's Vengeance dashes can kind of navigate through Lapu's lack of catching up to somebody unless he have the bravest fighter up and going. But here comes a ban that is maybe good to the side of Icy Paradise because they oversee that if a portal comes up, the shortcut comes, it's just the fact that we know that most of the teams are gonna use that portal to come in, perform the gang, right? So Minotaur is one of those heroes that can like just press his ultimate there when the portal spawns, and everybody that comes through the portal, they get knocked instantly. And same with that, that's why they're scared of that. Maybe that's what they're scared of, the fact that they just banned the Tigreal there, because they don't want an implosion, very big AoE CCs that's kind of cancel out the portal of the chip. So that's good. That could be a strategy as well. But aside of Vortex Rain, they're looking for something that still does that, but in a global range. That is going to be the Gatot Kacha coming from Vortex Rain, and they are banning out the Hilda and the Phobius on their side this time. So they don't want to give another very tanky EXP that can kind of slow down the farming of Yishin, because Yishin is all about the farming. If you get the farming right, if you get those levels right, you can kind of snowball when it comes to mid game. Yeah, very much mid game.
And yeah, as we have both mentioned, the Tigreal can be a big trouble for the chip, because if you're entering through the portal and you face up an implosion, that can actually backfire. So to ban out the Tigreal is pretty good as well. And yeah, as we were talking, here comes the Arlot pick, which is which is kind of good against the Lapu Lapu. It was pretty obvious in the current meta, because that is what most people are doing.
Fallen stars brought us here.
And boy, here comes the classic counter for the Irtel as well. I mean, for the Granger, it is gonna be the Irtel. Because why? Because she can hit and move, which is a bit troublesome for the Granger to hit that Rhapsody in the early phases of the game. But then again, I have witnessed a lot of games, Volty, where despite the Irritel being the counter for the Granger, it is actually most of the times the Granger, overwhelming the Irritel. So that happens too. So it depends on the player, on how well you execute your hero, their skills and their potential, because you might have picked the counter, but you might not be as good as the player. So even the counter pick would be a waste. So you have to watch out for those skillful players out there as well.
Very much true. And to top it off the session there, Novaria picked the side of Vortex Rain. A range for a range, right? Like they say, an eye for an eye. I don't know, eye for tat. I like to say it, but I will say that this Novaria has the range to kind of outrange the Farsa. And she's also mobile when she's doing those skills. But here we are back into the land of Dawn, ladies and gentlemen. True International Season 2, Swiss Days of Day number 4, sponsored by our lovely sponsor, of course, NextG. And here we are, Bhutan versus Indonesia. This time around, I see Paradise on the blue and Vortex Rain on the red. And once here, been itching to kind of analyze.
Definitely, and because it is Icy versus Vortex, I'm actually looking forward to the game. And man, just look at the Novaria pick, man. I actually forgot to even talk about the Novaria pick, because the Novaria can actually work pretty good here. You know why, Bolty? Because she can provide that extra 50% hitbox, which can be really beneficial for for the Lapu Lapu with his bravest fighter, as well as with the thought with his AOG, so that it provides more hit range to the side of Vortex there.
Not very much. If you have like a bigger hitbox, there's more chances you're gonna miss and not miss your skills, right? So having that Astro Recall is gonna be up the sleeves of Vortex Rains here. But top side though, Oatmeal getting chunked down 50% H. When you're talking about Oatmeal, tastes like absolute garbage, but it's healthy.
I mean, you can't disrespect oatmeal. I actually eat oatmeal because it's healthy. So yeah, but talking about it, talking about how dirty oatmeal tastes, it seems like for now they're just gonna leave oatmeal. They're just gonna leave him alone and just gonna look for ganking onto the side of the EXP there. And even the turtle of the match is already up, and it seems like the EXP and the mid are already ready here, and even the tank has made his appearance onto the turtle. And this time around, the jungler from the side of Vortex is not even near, so he's just making his way onto the turtle here.
Yep, Turtle skirmish has begun. Commences well, the bravest fighter comes here, but B-Boy will be the one to get that retribution. Oatmeal also finishes that first blood for the hands of Vortex Rain. And that is a good retribution at the same time. The AOG drops in as well. It seems like Wing getting solo kill in top lane, but there we go. At the same time, Demon King falls to the hands of Vortex Rain by getting absolutely obliterated there in the red buff.
Oh man, this is pretty unfortunate. I feel like this is really obvious. This is where you have to just wait up for the items because the Roger, he's not that strong in the early game. He still needs items to deal out damage, and as of now, they don't really have that damage in the early game. As for the side of Vortex, they have the Yi Shin, excels really well in the early game, plus the Lapu Lapu and the Gatot. And man, the Gatot with the Revitalize, extra heal for his team for the sustain, that is actually crazy because yeah, you're gonna take down the HP, but the Revitalize is just gonna be there as a support spell for his team as well. So that's actually really good for the Vortex. And yeah, the fact that they've already capitalized the game right off, 2 minutes into the game, they've already gotten 3 kills. It's really good for the side of Vortex. So now what I see they can do is just wait up for the late game and possibly look for that snowball where they can move around in the mid game, because that is where the Roger and the Fasa can start coming online.
Yep, indeed. But the Bravest Fighter is going to be able to follow it up. There goes more hitbox, like it said once, and that's a smart splash for Sun to take out the first Mercy on the other hand, showing no mercy to Sun. That's going to be a 1-to-1 trade on both sides. And once again, it's going to be a turtle skirmish soon here. It seems like the Moon is going to be in position to scout out the turtle. Don't forget Oatmeal though. A little bit of one, maybe both of the EXPs or the roams are gonna meet each other here, but yes, Oatmeal starts it, pulls it to the other side. But don't forget Demon King also, he's in position, but maybe they're looking for a gank on the bot side because it seems like a Yi Shin is gonna get clashed here. Here comes some final slash coming up. Mr. Mercy going on. The AOG to stop Mercy from pursuing the Yi Shin. And look at that, the Bravest Fighter goes in as well, but is it enough sustain to kind of get through? But no, Demon King gets the shut down, and this could be that green light for Icy Paradise to take this turtle.
Yeah, definitely, because this time around their EXP is not around, so it can actually create a big trouble for the side of Vortex. And man, just look at that!
Yes, sir. Finally, Demon Kings hits the retribution for the side of Icy Paradise. They were almost able to take out B-Boy as well, but not enough feathered airstrike for Moon to hit that last airstrike to B-Boy. So for now though, Oatmeal's gonna have that initiation coming up. That is a death. Marco gets the kill to Wink. And there's more. Marco likes to play with the Rhapsody and gets that purple for himself again. And this is very good because bot side though, or maybe mid side, we see an AOG drop in there, and that's gonna be a Marco getting the killing spree. This guy is on a rampage here. Maybe he could get some more. He dashes away. This is a sign that Icy Paradise, they're really underfarm and they don't want to take more fights.
They definitely need to stop with the fight because they're behind the goal. 3k goal, being led from the side of Vortex, and oh my god, that Bravest Fighter almost took down Demon King. He just made it barely out of that situation, and he was forced, to go back to the base. And I really love the fact that, Christian, he's being such a good support for the side of Vortex with the Navaria, just, throwing that skills on the bushes, just checking it out, and providing that assistance for his team. And yeah, despite him being a sniping mage, he's doing actually a good job with those astral realm, just revealing the vision all around the map, and exposing the position of the enemy, so his team can actually know where they are and maybe look for their possible next plan, where they're gonna gang, where they're gonna go. And yeah, this time around the third turtle of the game is up, and it will definitely be Vortex with the proper positioning here, because it seems like Demon King is just trying to get his buff as soon as possible.
Yeah, indeed. Demon King versus oh, never mind. Somebody's getting caught here. There's gonna be B-Boy. Oatmeal comes in as well. AOG being used. Feathered airstrike. Call it the airstrike as well, but not enough as Marco starts cleaning the table. Oatmeal also gets a kill on Wink, and they're gonna go for more. Moon is in trouble. Get pursued. Son here finally off that dual state, but it's gonna be Marco here shooting those guts out. But as of now, Moon will see them live to see another day. But that's gonna be 2-1 trade on both sides. It was supposed to be a gang for Vortex, no, Icy Paradise, but they actually lost 2 after that as well.
Yeah, this is the disadvantage of the portal. Because if you're gonna portal, you're not gonna call on your teammates, you're gonna call the enemy as well. So that is like a 50-50 chance, where you can win the team fight. And I feel like this is not the right time to use up the portal. Because this time around, Vortex, they are on a high lead against Icy. And Icy, despite them having the portal, they will definitely lose the team fight because they are low on the items, they are low on the gold, they are low on farm. And here comes another portal.
And the spider, I think it goes in. ALG as well. I do see that Marco overly not extending, but just in a perfect position to get some kills. And yes, he gets that double for himself. And once again, that tier 2 definitely will fall to the hands of Vortex now. And as for Sun though, this is what happens when you give a Lapu. Lapu is just, it's one of those fighters that can really soak a lot of damage because he have damage reduction with his swirling blade on his 2-stance form. And that is really good when it comes to sustain, and also he's the one that can pull up a 1v5 most of the time. But oh, Mercy just, that prediction kind of went wrong there because they thought that Sun is gonna jump in with Brave Fighter, but Mercy just forced that final slash.
Yeah, he did kind of force that, but I feel like it won't affect them much because the final slash does kind of have a low cooldown. So it will be up in about, a few seconds. But yeah, talking about Icy, if they want to win this game against Vortex, they really need to take out their main damage, which is Marco. And Marco almost getting sniped with that third airstrike. Just barely gets out of the range.
Yeah, this guy AOG though against the Natalias though, but as of now Oatmeal still live to see another day because they have the unbreakable to dash out of the inhibitor there. But it's just the nuking, the destruction coming in from Vortex Rain towards the Fortress of Icy Paradise. They're looking for something. They need something. They need like a battle machine that can crack down these walls. So of course they're gonna be camping in there. And we're seeing some recall from Marco here, trying to be flexing a little bit. Maybe we can get it. Oh, there he is. There's the boy, the man in his state. 601. Marco will be the one to sweep the floor. If they can get the Lord into the bases, the inhibitors of Icy Paradise, it's where the Granger really shines with his insane amount of range. And burst down into one with that Sky Piercer.
Yeah, I mean the Granger is still a big threat, He has received quite some nerfs, but that is still not enough, to make up for his damage because his damage is still pretty high even in the Death Sonata. They did reduce the range of the Death Sonata by a bit, and for the airstrike, even Bravest Fighter they're being forced out. So that's one big resource from the side of Vortex being spent. Because now they have no Bravest Fighter on their side. And with this Lord marching down the mid lane, they will be Braveless, so it is gonna be a little bit easier for the side of Icy to defend this.
Yep, there is the Astro Rico coming in, and here comes everybody on the side of Vortex Range falling to the clashing of the Icy Paradise. That's the inhibitor down now. Nico try to fortify with that feather airstrike, but it's not going to be enough to chunk down the HP. Lord is looking kind of low now. This Lord will get taken out for now, but the members of Vortex Rain are still there, but it seems like they're going to be waiting out for that minions to kind of clear it out. It's a good call from Vortex Rain to take out those inhibitors. They take out the top as well. 2 lost side of Icy Paradise. They get lost, might as well lost this on the bot side, but nobody's taking to the bot side here. That Astral Recall to be caught, the 2 members of Icy Paradise, and as they're working on the bot side, all inhibitors are down. Icy looking in a dire state. And it's a matter of fact that if they make one mistake, their fortress will crumble into dust.
Yeah, I mean, man, the fact that the fact that Vortex are on such a high edge against Icy, and the fact that they are are totally on the higher edge here because just look at the itemization. Granger with almost a full build, and boy, he has both the Blade of Despair and the Malefic Roar, as well as the Sky Piercer. So at this point around, Marco will be unstoppable with his Rhapsody and the Death Sonata. And on the other side, there's just not enough front line from the side of IC to absorb the damage, because this is just way too here, because the penetration from the Malefic Roar is really high. It goes up to 60%, and 60% penetration is just way too much to deal with. And the fact that even Oatmeal, he has picked up the the blade armor, which is really good because the Eristel, she barely has 3 items, and with the blade armor, she won't be dealing any damage to Oatmeal. And the fact that his passive also provides extra physical defense as his HP is going low. So this time around, I feel like even Irtel, our guy Wink, he won't be able to deal damage against their tank because their tank is gonna be a big hindrance combining with the Lapu Lapu, which is our guy Son.
Yup, that Astral Recall to, force out everybody here. Oh no, we're seeing an Oatmeal initiation there with AOG. But just when the Lord is here, they want the Lord to not be touched anytime soon when they have those gold-plated minions. And look at these guys. Vortex Reigns really showing their reign towards Icy Paradise. The Lord is here to crumble the last crystal of Icy Paradise because there's going to be a lot of fight actually happening. But Marco gets the kill and he's going to get the double, maybe a triple, or maybe not. Yes, indeed, he gets it, but not the Maniac. But that is it for Icy Paradise once again. Vortex Reigns, Coach Hafitz shows his supremacy over Bhutan. Indonesian pride, man.
I mean, you won't, but I'm not sad at all because I still believe in you. You are yet to grow and yet to perform well because this is the international that we're talking about. And I feel like this is a great exposure for IC as well as for the other teams from other regions. But yeah, let us just take a moment, and admire Marco because man, Marco, he was good with the Ranger and the Irritel. The guy, man, just as I mentioned earlier, in the draft, that yeah, you can't pick the counter, but if the player is better, there's nothing you can do about it. And man, Marco just goes on to prove me right because here we are in the screen. You see Marco with a 901 KDA and a full blast of an MVP, and even his gold it's really high because this guy has the highest goal in the game. He has built up such a good goal lead, and he has even completed his full items. On the other hand, if you take a look at Wink, he barely has a Hasclaw, the Windtalker, and the Berserker's Fury, which is pretty much the normal the normal crit build, and he really needs to get his hand on that Malefic Roar and the Malefic Gun to even deal some kind of damage, because the blade armor totally counter out Wing, and Wing couldn't deal any damage to neither Oatmeal nor Son. And yeah, the fact that they had only 4 kills on their hand is really sad because they couldn't get any kills with the Roger. And boy, just look at the screen here. The carry is gonna be none other than our guy Marco, as well as the rich guy. He is just there on those 2 positions, just sitting like a king. And man, let us not forget Son and our boy. I can't really see his name, man. Let me just zoom in a bit, because Son, he has taken around 600,000 damage with that Lapu Lapu. And yeah, even the Novaria with the best wingman.
Yeah, best wingman indeed. 8 assists for the Novaria. Those Astral Recalls come in clutch to, find out those hiding pesky ones in the bushes. That's why Vortex Rain, they were able to rain with most of those skills, those information that most of the players give. and finally making it to the win of Vortex Rain. But as of now, I feel like we're gonna be going to the interview section if our players dropped in once again, and we're gonna be seeing Vortex Rain, maybe Coach Hafiz, who knows? It might be Coach because it's very high possible because I've even seen Coach on the comment section as well. So if we can meet him, we got a lot of questions to ask.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really excited to, talk with Coach Hafiz because we did meet him in the first season of True International as well.
Yep.
And, his team did participate. And this time as well, his team has participated. So that's really good. And, it's really good, to build some kind of a bond with other countries as well. And, just to get to know each other. And yeah, this is not a competition, guys. This is, this is an opportunity. This is a platform where, you can internationally be exposed. So yeah, just take it as a scrim or something, because yeah, the whole point of this, of this international tournament is that, you get exposure, you get used to other regions.
Yep, indeed. The bridge to international regions. We finally bridge some connection against most other countries here. True International, it's all about that. And we're finally back in that custard desk now, right? Look at that. Alright. We will be seeing that. Wait a minute. Something's wrong here, but we'll not say it out. But anyways, it's gonna be the first win for Vortex Rain this time around because they've come up with the good macros, good strategies, good drafting as well to kind of flush down IC Paradise. And yes, they do have it, but think about it. I don't know what server did they play on. Maybe Indonesia can also have that advantage like we've always said. But as of right now, I win once. I win.
Where's my pillow? I'm gonna throw my pillow at your head.
Nah, bro, what the freak? What? Why a pillow, man?
You know what,
When I was a-
Bolty?
Yo, what?
I'm not even gonna say anything because yeah, you won. I mean, you didn't win basically. Yeah, Vortex won, but still, yeah.
Yeah, the one's gonna take that big L on his forehead right here. Let me picture that right there, guys. For those clippers and editors right there, this is for once right here.
You know what? I'm gonna put a W on my head because what?
Nah, bro, you can't take that back, bro. You can't take that back.
We all are winners. We're still
Yeah.
winners. There's no losers because even though if you lose in life, you learn many things from it, and you grow. And yeah, that's the point of losing. Just because you lost doesn't mean you're gonna get demotivated and you're gonna lie down on the ground. No, you're gonna learn from that. You're gonna grow from that, and you're gonna come back stronger and harder.
Yeah, but I will say it's still a W for IC Paradise, or because they're gonna be heading to the wildcard stage of MSC. I'm pretty sure they're the Bhutan, representation. So it's still a W for IC Paradise going to the MSC. But it seems like we're finally having the interview section, and yes, it's gonna be the man himself, Coach Hafiz. Hello.
Oh my God, is that Coach Hafiz?
Yeah, he got the new haircut. That's why he's looking fine.
I do not recognize Coach Hafiz. The last time I saw him, this coach, he had hair, this much hair. Yeah, he looks like a kid. He actually looks like a kid, with the short hair. Hello,
Yeah.
Coach Hafiz. Welcome back to True Internationals. How are you feeling tonight?
Rasain bang, gak ngerti bahasa Inggris. Ada di rumah.
We might need a translator for this, so let our streamer here on his mic as well and translate.
Baik, makasih Bang Bolti, Bang Wans.
Bang Hafiz. Welcome.
All right, so coach, you're actually looking young after the haircut there. I actually skipped some ages right there. Go back, becoming a little bit more younger it seems. But as of now, we have seen the drafting was crazy. Was that your drafting, by the way?
draft gua. Cuman di ini nama anak-anak dimaksimalin sama anak-anak. Jadi ya terima kasih anak-anak, walaupun anak-anak gua masih SMP, mereka bisa ngebuktiin lah bahwa kelas mereka tuh bukan di SMP sebenarnya.
Could you translate that for us so we can translate it for the audience? Okay, so
Very
basically
nice.
what Coach Hughes is saying is that the draft is made by him, but the actual credit goes to the player to execute the draft, to execute the picks, and that is what he's saying there. He's just being humble, despite him being the coach, doing all the draft, all the research. He's just at the end of the day just gonna be throwing the credit over to his players. So yeah, a big W to Coach Hafiz, guys.
Coach Hafiz W. Yes.
Kenapa?
All right, Vance, what about you?
Semoga
yeah.
bisa masuk ke playoff sih, bisa masuk ke playoff. Terus ya biar Vortex keren berkembang aja, sama banyak-banyak makan mie goreng.
Am I hearing a mie goreng day? Yep, I love Indonesian Indomie, so yes, if you can hit me up, there we go. That's my favorite, my instant package noodle right there. The best, Indo number one when it comes to Indomie. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, Coach. It was great, having you here.
Yeah,
So,
Indomie, please
anyone-
sponsor True International for season 3. Yes. Look at that.
Oke,
All right,
lagi.
Coach. Thank you so much. It seems like we'll be heading to the third match now. Any last words, Coach? You want to say?
Apa? Terakhir lagi. Oh, ya. Kita sih respect aja, tapi yang tadi yang Ichi itu emang kita udah pelajarin banget mereka mainnya gimana. Nah mungkin nextnya kita belum tahu kan, karena bakal di drawing lagi untuk lawannya siapa. Jadi ya kita bakal ngeliat dulu drawing kayak gimana dan kita pelajarin cara mereka mainnya.
Can we get a translation for that? A translation. Okay, so basically what Coach Hafiz said is that, they are just gonna try their absolute best in the playoff, and they're just gonna give their blood, sweat, and tears. So yeah, that is his last words for his team.
Apa? Dari tim sih pengennya pantai PH sih. Oke.
Alright.
So with that, guys, we are just gonna conclude this interview, and yeah, we're just gonna be heading to the third game. Yeah, but before heading to the third game, we are just gonna take a short break because yeah, it is gonna be a new set of casters that will be joining you guys, and so yeah, me and Bolty will be out, so you won't see our faces anymore. I'm not really sure if you even like seeing our faces, but yeah, it is gonna be a new set of casters that's gonna be coming up. I feel like it's definitely gonna be Debbie and Sebastian. So see you guys, and yeah, we'll see you after the break.
Don't forget. Oh, never.
戦参上
Where there is light, there are also shadows. Always on the way!
Experience the euphony of suffering.
Let's go!
The Immortal One chose me to vanquish the shadows that plague this world.
Muscle of iron, bones of steel.
When you gaze into the abyss gazes back.
Karena sedang ada masalah jaringan kawan-kawannya, jadi saya akan menjadi caster di sini. Tentunya bahasa Inggris, langsung saja mengikut bahasa Indonesia. Jadi ya tanpa lama-lama kita bakalan segera masuk ke dalam Land of Dawn. Kita masih menunggu dari tim 7C Esports karena masih ada terkendala di persentase. Jadi kita bakalan masih menunggu saja sedikit dan ya. Seperti kita akan langsung saja menuju ke dalam game yang pertama. Game yang pertama di best of one antara Trident melawan 7C Esports. Let's go, Mama. Sini kita melihat dengan draft. Ya kalau buat saya sih draft di sini cukup seimbang, tidak terlalu apa ya namanya, tidak terlalu berat di sebelah, tapi di sini kembali lagi masalah gameplay ya, dan juga ada kemungkinan ada masalah dari masalah tim juga, tapi kita akan melihat bagaimana dari kedua tim ini. Kalau kita lihat di sana Afrika telah dikeluarkan beserta dengan revitalize dari seorang Basil dan Opan, dua resource yang cukup mahal sudah dikeluarkan di early game. Apakah itu adalah sebuah kepanikan ataukah untuk menyelamatkan dirinya, kita tidak tahu. Masih ada masih dari kedua belah tim santai-santai saja, masih poking ke arah minion, tapi kita lihat sini Charot atas ceiling tetap telah digunakan. Apakah atas ceiling menjadi korban? Tapi kita lihat Strawberry Sun di depan sana, trigger digunakan oleh seorang Charot, sangat on point, tapi 3 resource telah dikeluarkan oleh tim Trident continue. Di atas cerita secara bagi-bagi karakter di depan sana, sangat sakit sekali. Basil harus mundur ya, jangan sampai ter-take down. Sementara itu Strawberry Sun ya masih mau mencoba peruntungannya untuk mendapatkan ke arah seorang Charot, tapi sepertinya kurang baik ya di antara buat kasih Sling dan juga Strawberry Sun. Harus kembali harus recall, karena kalau tidak dan lagi seperti yang saya bilang, harus kembali dan Turtle akan segera muncul di game kita di game kita antara Trident continue dan Trident Esports. Sementara di sini masih kita lihat masih 0-0 dari kedua belah tim, masih belum ada war yang benar-benar mengagetkan. Masih disiplin dari kedua belah tim. Sementara itu di pasana sendirian menjadi korban di tangan dari seorang Basil. Sementara itu Basil masih mengejar ke arah Strawberry Sun, damage yang cukup sakit, mundur perlahan, jangan sampai lengah. Sementara di atas kita lihat Charot beserta dengan Basil dan Axor akan menuju ke arah seorang Tasiling. Avatar Guardian telah digunakan, tapi tidak mengenai siapa. Tasiling menariknya ke sana, apakah bisa selamat dan tangkap begitu saja. Hampir bisa selamat, tapi ya 3 lawan 1 yang sungguh sangat sulit, dan permainan yang cukup rapi diberikan sama Trident continue. Sepertinya di sini Trident masih kurang yakin dengan gameplaynya, karena kalau saya lihat di sini Trident ini masih meraba-raba. Tapi kita lihat di arah bawah di depan sana, terus hampir lelenya tidak kena. Kalau itu telah digunakan, tidak begitu berarti hanya untuk ini, tapi kita lihat depan sana Charot menjadi korban selanjutnya. Brandek menjadi korban selanjutnya di tangan Bruno, tapi itu Bruno hampir menjadi terkenal dari seorang Opan. Kita lihat Yuan juga digunakan sangat baik sekali. Axor, what are you doing? Tasiling menangkap ke arah seorang Charot. Waduh, rugi bro. Astaga, kerugian diterima di tangan dari tim Trident continue, harus bersabar meskipun dengan 1.000 gold lead ya, tapi secara di sini masih harus mereka bisa lebih bersabar. Depan mengganggu Bruno Dorji depan sana, tapi masih bisa lihat yang sudah sangat solid sekali antara Matilda, Loi dan juga Gatot Kaca. Dan kita lihat ada teleport yang digunakan Loi ya. Tapi kita lihat apakah bisa Charot dengan mode tank lagi. Ya, kita lihat Turtle di sini sudah mulai di poking begitu saja. Apakah bisa mendapatkan Turtle yang kedua dari tim 7C Esports? Masih masih sabar. Bruno Dorji depan sana, ya ke belakang. Seperti akan dilepas begitu saja karena mungkin karena lebih prioritas ke Parto kan. Sementara itu Brian Dex ini masih mencari info. Tracy harus lebih bersabar, hati-hati. Oh, depan sana, dan benar saja Brian Dex mendapatkan turtle yang kedua. Disengage dilakukan oleh tim Seven Seas Esports. Ini masih di menit ke-5, tapi kita sudah melihat dominasi dari tim Trident Continue. Sementara itu dari tim Seven Seas Esports harus mencari sesuatu ya, untuk bisa memenangkan pertandingan ini. Sementara itu kita lihat di tanggal 2 itu berhasil. Kita oleh Strawberry dan juga Geliwan. Aduh. Tolong. Jangan sampai sini. Bruno Dorji hati-hati. Oh, masih bisa selamat Bruno Dorji. Jangan sampai Bruno Dorji kehilangan kendalinya lagi ya. Sementara itu kita lihat depan sana, Thor masih di depan sana, hati Strawberry Jarod ya di sana benar-benar pede sekali. Jangan sampai tertangkap begitu saja ya. Harus bersabar. Cara depan sana tiket lagi gerakan cara jadi korban di tangan dari seorang Bruno Dorji. Sangat baik inisiasi dari seorang Strawberry Sun. Wow, fish crack yang begitu sangat on point, tapi kita lihat hampir saja lele dari seorang Opan menangkap ke arah seorang Strawberry Sun, tapi lele keduanya menusuk dada dari seorang Strawberry Sun. Badang lele yang sangat on point. Kartu ketiga akan segera datang. Siapakah yang akan bisa mengangkat depan sana? Trash dengan sangat baik, hampir saja. Sangat baik dari Strawberry Sun, harus bersabar. Sabar Strawberry Sun, pelan-pelan. Ya, sepertinya hanya ingin digunakan sebagai opan jadi korban tidak. Juga Strawberry Sun korban bisa dari kita dikorban oleh seorang aktor. Korban dari seorang Tasling, Sharon, what is this? Hingga perfect turtle di tangan dari tim Trident Continue. Inisiasi yang sangat baik diberikan oleh tim Seven Seas Esports, tapi kita lihat di sana Matilda bisa menarik dan menggagalkan apa yang telah dicatat oleh tim Seven Seas Esports. Tapi kita lihat di sini sementara itu di bagian bawah masih ada split push manja, dan juga di bagian atas masih juga ada sedikit lagi lelenya yang tadi oleh seorang Brian Dex dan Hayabusa. Wadidaw, kita mari gerakan batu jadi korban selanjutnya. Pertukaran 1 dan 1, tapi masih tidak. Masih butuh banyak pertukaran naik. Dari tim Seven Seas Esports harus lebih mencari untung daripada mencari pertukaran, karena pertukaran sudah tidak worth it di tangan mereka. Harus lebih bersabar Seven Seas Esports mencari strategi yang lebih baik. Tapi kita di depan sana lele yang sungguh on point dari seorang Opan. Langsung saja bagus dari Geliwan. Riko di jalan tas mundur perlahan. Kita lihat di atas sana, sepertinya akan mereka ingin menggedor di daerah bot lane untuk dari Seven Seas Esports. Boleh dijualkan pasana, tapi masih benar-benar disini sakit sekali dari seorang Sarot. Harus bersabar dari tim Seven Seas Esports. Tapi itu sepertinya akan perfect down, sepertinya turret yang satu kali tidak konsisten serangan Sarot. Fish back, hampir saja menangkap ke arah seorang Sarot. Tapi masih bisa ditarik oleh seorang Matilda, flicker telah digerakkan oleh seorang Geliwan dan mundur perlahan. Sementara itu di mid terus turret terbongkar. Apakah akan pasif juga akan dikeluarkan? Tapi setengah saja karena kita lihat boom, setengah pasif sudah dikeluarkan, tapi Lord di sana sudah ada di depan mata. Apakah bisa saudara-saudara untuk bisa membalikan keadaan? Tapi kita lihat teleport Lord jatuh di tangan Trident Continue. Bendek memberikan sebuah perlawanan yang sangat baik ya. Batu harus sabar untuk melakukan inisiasi. Hati-hati jangan sampai terjadi yang tidak diinginkan. Sementara itu ya, Aksor masih di depan sana, apakah bisa untuk menangkap satu orang? Sepertinya tidak. Bruno Dorji harus bersabar, pulang terlebih dahulu. Masih belum dapat secara kita dikeluarkan Charot. Waduh, damage-nya tidak tertahan, tapi flicker Opan. What are you doing? What are you doing, Opan? Ya, inilah kita lihat. Sementara itu dia ada tapi kita sudah digunakan dia menjadi korban selanjutnya. Begitu sangat cepat mengeluarkan dia, tapi ada bisa digunakan. Dorji telah ditangkap. Apakah ini menjadi endgame untuk tim dari Trident Continue? Tapi sementara itu kita lihat Lord masih dibiarkan sendiri di atas. Sementara itu Strawberry-san, aduh, sangat bisa hampir. Strawberry-san harus berkecil ketika digunakan persiapan menuju ke arah Maniaka. Seperti ada jadi menang dan game besok ini dimenangkan oleh tim Trident Continue. Tania Trident Continue. Selamat Trident Continue. Ya kita ngelihat dulu ya dari dari post gamenya, dimana bagus sekali apa yang Trident Continue lakukan, tapi kita masih belum tahu apa saja faktor-faktor yang bisa membuat Trident Continue, dan juga ya kita sudah tahu lah Trident tadi bermain dengan sangat baik, tapi di sini kita bakalan membuka dulu ke arah post gamenya. Kita bakalan membuka ke arah post gamenya dan kita akan lihat apa aja yang terjadi di sini. Ya kita lihat di sini Charot ya menjadi MVP dari game kita kali ini ya, dimana 933 cukup bagus yang didapatkan, serta GPM-nya 920, total damage 61.631 dan damage taken 25.727 ya. Dan di sini kita lihat di mana Trident Continue benar-benar mendominasi dari setiap sisi, dari gold, turret, turtle, lord, purple buff, bahkan sampai ke red buff, dengan item yang cukup menarik yang dibawakan oleh di sini saya mau mention Opan ya. Di sini membawakan glowing one beserta dengan Starlium Sight ya. Sangat menarik. Bukan jarang ya, kayaknya mungkin karena saya bukan karena user Selena ya, jadi jadi saya nggak ngelihat dengan baik apa yang terjadi gitu. Dan ya kita bisa ngelihat di statistik selanjutnya, turret damage, game damage dan lain-lain semua sudah dibabat habis oleh tim dari Trident Continue. Sementara itu Seven Seas Sport harus belajar lagi, tapi juga kemungkinan besar karena masalah ping, karena debutan terjadi di server Asia kayaknya ada masalah ya untuk ping juga dari tim Seven Seas Sports. Dan kita lihat Rich Guy di sini adalah seorang Charot ya, dengan gold GPM 920, damage dealt 61.631 ya, dan juga Strawberry-san di sini dengan damage dari seorang badangnya 659, dan tentu saja seorang best wingman dengan assist sebanyak 11 ya. Dan kalau kita lihat di sini gamenya benar-benar one sided. 10 menit 43 ya, belum bisa mengalahkan rekor KK Esports dengan 9 menit 43 aja, tapi game ini berakhir dengan sangat cepat untuk kemenangan dari Trident Continue. Dan ya seperti kita sudah punya Trident di sini untuk melakukan interview. Trident boleh buka kamera dan juga unmute. Trident Ya, langsung saja kita interview dari tim Trident Continue. Halo Bang, bagaimana kabar? Halo. Gimana nih Bang tadi lawan tim Seven Seas Esport Bang? Apa yang Abang lihat dari tim Seven Seas Esport tadi? Dari segi gameplaynya Bang, tadi gameplay. Tadi kan karena kan tadi kan ada masalah ping ya Bang ya, ada masalah ping. Tapi tadi dari yang Abang perhatikan itu dari overall gameplaynya tuh bagaimana Bang? terlalu asik cobain skin sampai lupa di in game. Waduh. Tapi Bang, kekalahan kemarin tuh benar-benar sakit ya Bang ya. Gak bisa tidur 2 hari 2 malam. Tapi ini nih berarti nih Trident bakalan menuju ke bracket 1-1 ya berarti ya. Kira-kira nih bakalan mau ketemu siapa nih di bracket 1-1? Karena di bracket 1-1 itu nanti bakalan ada Vortex, ada tim dari Malaysia juga, ada tim dari Filipina juga ada di bracket 1-1. Sama Indonesia ya. Oke. Tapi ini menurut Abang nih dari keseluruhan turnamen ini nih, kira-kira tim mana nih Bang yang paling menjadi masalah nanti buat Trident kalau ketemu? Oh, Cosmic Prof sama Leon Esports. Oke. Dan terakhir ini pertanyaan terakhir. Untuk besok nih kan nanti habis setelah match antara LCF dan juga Pick to Plummet itu bakalan ada draw nih. Bakalan mau ketemu untuk musuh selanjutnya di bracket selanjutnya, ada pesan gak nih? Musuh selanjutnya. Oke, kita buat gamenya saja. Oke deh Bang, terima kasih untuk gamenya dan kita bakalan berjumpa lagi mungkin di 1-2 hari menunggu bracket lagi. Terima kasih untuk Trident Continue. Thank you Bang. Ya, kita bakalan langsung saja menuju ke game selanjutnya. Bukan langsung saja sih, tapi game selanjutnya di mana kita bakalan melihat antara LCF melawan Pick to Plummet ya. Di sini gamenya bakalan bermain di jam setengah 12 ya, di setengah 12 waktu Indonesia. Di setengah 12 waktu Indonesia Barat. Jadi kayaknya kita bakal menunggu lama. Dan ya itu saja untuk kita pada hari ini. Jadi ya kita bakalan pergi dulu. Thank you guys semua. Sampai jumpa di match yang terakhir.